Happy New Year, everyone. I cannot believe that 2013 is over, and tomorrow, when most of you watch this, is going to be 2014. I thought I'd do something a little different this year and do a little video recap of my 2013, as opposed to trying to write stuff down or talk about it on Facebook or something. So I'm not sure what's going to come out, but we'll just see. And I apologize in advance if I sound a little nasally. I am fighting the first cold I've had in, I don't know, it's been probably 2-3 years since I've had a cold. So I'm going to do my best. Here it goes. 2013. Well, it started off in January, obviously, and it was a year where, you know, I'd come off of living in Europe for the last portion of 2012. So 2013, I really wanted to sit down and focus on my business. I really wanted to create some programs that allowed me to help more people. I wanted to educate myself more so I could be better at doing what I do. And most of the first portion of the year, beginning in January, I locked myself away and became a hermit and really did that. I was working these long, 10, 12, 14, 15-hour days where I'd literally wake up in the morning, get on the computer, and would work on it nonstop, save for the time I was meeting with clients. It was mind-numbing at times, it was exhausting at times, it was frustrating at times, but I'm so grateful for it because I feel like I learned so much, I feel like it allowed me to grow so much, and I feel like I put the work in now and I won't have to do it later on. 2013 also saw my first ever book come out. So I'm going to promote my little book here, and I just wanted to first of all thank you all so much for those of you who have bought it, who have left feedback about it. It really means so much to me. This was something, as I've shared with all of you, that came from a very, very personal time in my life, and for me to go and actually share it publicly, and then to see the book realized, because this was something I started writing, over 4 years ago. So to see it come to fruition and have a physical copy of it that I can hold that has my little picture on it, I can't tell you what it feels like. Not just because I finished it and because it was something I've always wanted to do, but because I know that it's gone on to help so many people. And that's ultimately what it was about. When I first created Ouch, My Heart Is Broken, my whole intention was to be able to help people with it, to be able to share my story in the hopes that it would help other people too. So thank you so much for those of you who have supported that and who have found value in it and have shared the value found in it. 2013 was also a year that I had a couple of medical problems pop up, and they coincided with a lot of my hermit time. You didn't see a whole lot of pictures and whatnot from me between January and May of this year because really I was kind of messed up physically. And it culminated with me having a minor surgery in April that seems to have fixed the problem and also ruled out some other potential stuff too, which was a huge relief. But it was interesting with me watching myself in that, how at times I would just become so focused on that. I'd become so focused on what was wrong instead of what was right. And it was a reminder to me that, there's never going to be perfection in life, but there's always so many positive things that you can focus on. You have to look for them sometimes, and sometimes it's a little harder than others. But when you do focus on those things, it enriches your life so much more. And I'm thankful for this medical thing because it reminded me of that. It forced me to kind of check my reality. It forced me to step back and realize, okay, things that I was taking for granted all the times, I can't take it for granted anymore. I got to make some little changes here and there, and also step back and really appreciate what I do have in my life, because at any moment, all that can be taken away, right? So really thankful for that. 2013 was also a year that I rediscovered the love for a game of poker. And not so much because I enjoy playing the game, but I enjoy the camaraderie that comes with the game. Several years ago, I had a group of guys and we'd play with regularly, and that fell apart, and I haven't played really since then. Well, this year when I got back from Europe, or last year when I got back from Europe, I had some friends that had been playing a couple times. That led to almost every weekly game at my house this year, and it was the funnest time because it was just cool to have a group of guys just hang out and sit around and BS and tell stories and play poker, and nobody's playing high stakes or anything like that, but it's the camaraderie that comes with it. I love having that opportunity to have the bonding experiences with people, and I think that's what a huge part of life is like, right? It's about having experiences. It's about creating experiences and creating memories with people. And to play poker, it doesn't cost any money. I mean, it costs a couple bucks that you put in to play for the night, but it's still in the long term, it's cheaper than going to the movie and buying popcorn, or going out to dinner, or going and buying a couple beers. But the memories and the camaraderie that come with it, that's what I loved about it. And I think going forward in 2014 for myself, and I encourage all of you, is to find something that you can do with a group of friends. Find something that you're passionate about, that they're passionate about, that you both enjoy, or you might not have people that know they enjoy it yet, and invite them along to partake. Because it makes everything more memorable when you have people to make memories with. And that kind of segues to something else that was really cool for me in 2013. I went on a road trip, a national park road trip in, I can't remember if it was end of May, beginning of June. And I went through Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota. I think those were the 4. What made this trip extra special is I took my mommy with me. And that's something that I've always wanted to do ever since I was a little kid, is I wanted to get to a point in life where I could do something special like that for my mom. And ever since I've been an adult, we haven't ever had the opportunity to do anything like that, where we could go and do something where we bond together. And it was fun for me to get to show my mom that part of my life, a part of my life that I enjoy so much, which is traveling, which is exploring, which is going out and being in nature and taking photos. And it was something that really, helped strengthen our relationship, and also, I think, create a foundation for a better relationship between us going forward. So for those of you who have mommies, daddies, brothers, sisters, or anybody out there who you want to try to create a better relationship with in 2014, think about what would be meaningful for both of you, and make a plan to do it. Make a plan to do it. Now my mom and I are planning to do another one this coming year. I'm letting her choose. I gave her 2 choices of which one we could do, and she gets to pick. And it's something now that we both have to look forward to. And it's going to be 6 months away, but we can look forward to it in the meantime. So pick something out, make a plan, build up to it. It will radically change your relationships with one another, because you guys can share in a mutual fun of something. You can plan it together. You can look at different things that there are to do. You can do research together about what there is to see and explore and experience. So do it. Find somebody that you care about, somebody who's important to you. Plan out a trip, even if it's just a day trip where you're traveling outside of the city limits, and you're doing something just for you guys, but make it special. Let's see, what else? 2013 was a year that I really had to refocus on fitness and kind of retune my body. As I've said, having a few issues with the body, I don't know if it's just getting older, if it's wear and tear, it forces you again to take a step back and reevaluate things. And again, I'm super grateful for it, because it's allowed me to rediscover and reignite a passion for fitness and exercise that I've always had, but maybe wasn't burning quite as bright the last 2 years as it is this year. It's helped me learn more about my body, about how I move, how to move and maintain an injury-free lifestyle. Having some bumps and bruises the last few years, it makes you step back and think, okay, what do you need to do going forward to ensure that you're not going to have that for the future? When you're young, I think you have that air of invincibility, but then as you do start to get a little older, you realize, okay, living the rest of your life, how do you want to live it? Is it really worth doing this thing to try to impress that person? Taking the ego out of it and just focusing on what's best for me. And again, I think that's such an important thing in life, right? Take your ego out of stuff. Ego doesn't serve you really well and things like that, and focus on just what's going to be most important for you. What's going to be the best for you? What's going to be the most nurturing and fulfilling for you? Let's see, what else? 2013 was a year where, I feel like I strengthened some really solid friendships, and I also weeded out some of the ones that weren't so strong. And I think that's important to always take that time to be introspective and look at the people in your life and which ones add value to it, and really do what you can to strengthen those relationships. And then the ones who don't add value to it, put some distance between it. You're not obligated in your life. You are not obligated to be anything for anybody else other than just to be for yourself. Don't sacrifice yourself for others. Life is far too short to do that. 2014, make it about you. Make it about strengthening the relationships that are most important to you. Make it about distancing and eliminating the ones that aren't. Life is short and it's over before we know it. So don't let other people drag you down. Your energy, your time, your love, your attention, all that stuff is extremely precious. Don't give it away to other people. And 2013 was you know, I knew I was going to have to talk about this, and I told myself I wouldn't cry when I did. But 2013 was the year that, you know, I lost my best friend. And, you know, I felt like, I was even talking to a friend about this a couple weeks ago, and you feel like after you get removed from loss, you start to get that air of invincibility about you again. You know, you start to forget about what it's like to lose people, and you just look so much to the future and about the times you're going to have together and all those things. And, you know, life doesn't always have it planned that way. Paul was he was my best friend for so many reasons, and we're very similar. The way we think, the way we feel, the way we act. We have similar senses of humor. We have similar passions. We both enjoy the nature and the photos and being away from civilization and just having that aspect of it. We love living out of backpacks, and I gotta tell you guys, not having his presence, you know, and not having the presence of the people who are special for you going forward in life, it's hard, it's bittersweet, but you have to keep moving forward because that's what they'd want for you to do. I know that's what he'd want for me to do. And there's a couple, I think, little things that are just popping up in my head right now, and I want to share them with you all because I think it's important and it's good stuff to end on. After my friend committed suicide and my dad died, so that happened in about 6 months of each other, I remember talking with Paul a bunch both times right afterwards and telling him how, you know, I had regrets with my dad because there was so much unspoken stuff, and same thing with my friend. You know, there was just so much that was not fully said, and I was telling him how important it is to never leave things unsaid to you, know, how important I learned that, how important it is to say that I love yous and all that, and I'm so grateful for that in his and my relationship because we always said I love you. We always said what mattered most. We always told each other how we felt about each other because that was important to him, that was important to me. And it's important for me to share that with you all because you guys, life is so fragile and it is so short. And the worst feeling in the world, and I'm sure many of you experience this, is when somebody dies and feeling like you never said what you wanted to say. You had so much stuff unspoken. I'm so grateful for that with him because there wasn't any of that. You know, if life would have continued on for 60 more years, we would have still been saying the same things. You know, we knew how much we meant to each other, and I can't tell you how comforting that is in this difficult time. So resolve in 2014 to make it a priority to say what's most important while you have the ability to say what's most important. I remember one time we were sitting around talking last year, and Paul asked me, he said, you know, what would you want from me as a friend? What would you want from me if you could have one thing different in my life? And I said, you know, I would want for you what I'd want for so many other people. And that's just to be more present. To be more present, to be able to stop and just find value in the moment that you're in. You know, we live in a world right now where we're so obsessed with either what's going to come tomorrow or what's happened behind us that we forget to just appreciate what's going on right now. You know, if I could wish for anything for all of you guys in 2014, it would be to spend less time with these things and the other distractions of life, and to spend more time with this and this. Spend more time with the people who matter to you most. And when you're with those people, put the cell phones away. Shut out the clutter. Shut out the noise. And just be present with them. Just enjoy the moment you have with them. You never know if that moment's going to be your last. And we all assume that we're going to have another one. I do it all the time. I'll be the first to admit it. But I also know that the reality of it is we never do know. Give yourself that gift of being present. If I could give one gift to you all this year, it would be for you all to be more present, for me to be more present, for everybody to be more present. For anybody who watches this, to step back after this video is done and ask themselves, how can I be more present? How can I add more value to my life? How can I find more joy in the simplest of things? Because you guys, at the end of it all, We can't take the money with us. We can't take the job accolades. We can't take any of that stuff with us. The stress doesn't go, the anxiety doesn't go, the pain, the hope, the fear, all that stuff doesn't go. All we have for certain is this moment right now. You, me, and everybody else has the same opportunity to maximize this moment, for whatever that is. That might just mean stopping and taking a deep breath of fresh air and being grateful for it. For me, I can hear the ocean behind me right now when I'm talking, and I love that sound, and that helps me be present. It might be to step aside and just, when you're meeting with a friend who's going through a hard time, not trying to make it about you, but just listening to them. Whatever that is for you, each and every one of us have full capability to make the absolute most of the moment that we're in. So if 2014, if you can make a theme for yourself for 2014, it would be this: to be more present. 2013 for me was a year of highs and a year of some really great highs and some really lows. But so is life. Life, it ebbs and flows like this, right? And it always will. There's going to be some really hard times in life, you guys. It's an inevitable thing. There's just going to be people that you love, you're going to lose them. Mistakes that you make are going to come back to bite you in the butt. But they do not have to define you. You guys have heard me say this before. You get to define the experiences that happen in life. How you move forward after you've lost somebody that you love is ultimately how you choose to honor them. I want to make 2014, Paul was my best friend and I love that guy more than anything. And so I want to do my best to live the best 2014 I can and beyond to honor him. So think about that. Now is a time of change in your life. Ask yourself, how can you change? How can you move forward? How can you honor those you've lost? How can you resolve to make the next year the best year ever? How can you be more present? How can you be more accountable to yourself? How can you cut out the noise? The answers are there, guys. You're capable of it all. And I really, from the bottom of my heart, hope that you all resolve to make 2014 the best year ever. And I'm looking forward to the journey together.